Hey everyone, today we're going to be making a video on HMI Local. HMI Local is a tool that allows you to synchronize HMIs that you find in OnPing to a Lumberjack out in the field. It's been used to create control panels and also fully functioning control centers out at remote sites. What's nice about it is HMI Local gathers all of its information from local devices instead of relying on cloud connections. This means that you can have a display panel set up even when internet connection is unavailable. So to set up an HMI Local, you need a few things. First of all, you're going to want to have some sort of way of viewing what things look like locally. If you're on site, this is easy as you can log straight into the display. If not, you should use our Tailscale VPN system in order to get a look at what the display looks like locally. See a different video on how that works. So I'm just writing down a few of the things that I think you need. Tailscale, you need a Lumberjack and access to it in the Lumberjack Application System. If you don't have a Lumberjack or access to one, see your administrator or contact support at plotech.net and we'll be happy to get you one. Once you have a Lumberjack, you'll need to take note of the Tailscale IP in order to log in. We'll go through all that shortly and I'll add more notes as we go. So the first thing I'll need to do is select the Lumberjack that I want to install HMI Local on. I'm going to choose this one here. And then I'm going to go to my app list and make sure I have access to HMI Local in my available apps. If you don't have access, again, contact support or your administrator. So HMI Local is right here. You can see a quick summary of it by clicking on it. A little bit of a preview here. But I don't really need that. I just want to go ahead and install it. So go ahead and click and then click Install. Do you want to install HMI Local? I sure do. Here it says package install successfully queued. And now you'll see it start trying to initiate communications with the Lumberjack in order to do this install. One nice thing about the way the install works in the Lumberjack Application System is that all of the connections are initiated client side. So the Lumberjack is actually going out and fetching these packages from our cloud servers. Currently you can see the status. We also have it optimized for very low latency connections. So that's why it takes a little bit longer sometimes than you might be accustomed to in other applications. It allows it to work a lot better on radio networks and other low speed devices. While that's going, I'll go and start looking at a few other things. So another thing that I'm going to need that's actually already on here is LAS Proxy. And I'll need that to work with our Tailscale application in order to see the Lumberjack as it appears locally, because I'm not actually on site. If I were on site, I could just log into the local IP. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and open another tab while we wait for this to go. And you can close the tab, by the way, and it'll keep installing just fine. I just like to leave it open so I get this nice, oh, there we go, it just updated. Well, I guess I can close this one. So now I have a new HMI Local. Now it's time for me to add a local HMI. So I'm going to go to my links to admin stuff, and I'm going to click on HMI Local Add. I'm going to find the Lumberjack I need. And then I'm going to click Add New Local HMI. I'm going to call this one Test HMI for HMI Local for YouTube. The display path, remember an HMI Local, the way it works is it's actually just rendering a website. The display path is the path that you will type in your address bar. So in this case, I'm going to pick HMI primary, just the default one. HMI primary. The app port is what port that HMI is going to run on. So our Lumberjack application system does run on port 80, so it's best not to pick that one. In this case, it picks 3031. I usually just leave it at that. I'll make the group I make for everything, test corp user, and then a timeout. The timeout is how long you have to work with the HMI before it goes back to asking you to enter a code to access the HMI again, which brings up the next part, users that can access it. So every user that can access it is assigned to an OnPing user, and its credentials are actually offloaded on site as a key. So I'm just going to use my own user. Give it a PIN and a code. That'll make more sense when it's time to log in. And then click Add. All right, this says HMI Local is saved, and we're ready to do the next pieces. So the next pieces don't take place in the Add screen, they take place in the Configuration screen. So I went ahead and added that to this panel here. If you're wanting to add a configuration screen yourself, it looks something like this. I'll go ahead and delete this one so I can show you. Well, I just added it to the bottom actually. So you click plus widget on a panel and then pick Add HMI Local to add a new HMI Local. Let me go ahead and cancel because I already have one up here. And select the Lumberjack I've been working with, which is Lumberjack 9. And it immediately shows the HMI Local that we created earlier. So HMI Local is just an application running on a Lumberjack, and we've added a particular instance of it. So you can have multiple different sets of HMIs running on a particular Lumberjack. In this case, we're going to call this one HMI Primary, but let's say that you had an engineering diagnostics HMI that you wanted to give one group of users access to, and a standard user panel that you want to give another group of users access to. That's where you would have more than one local HMI on a particular Lumberjack. Now that I've selected the instance that I want, it's time to start adding HMIs. So how do you add an HMI? You simply find them in your list of HMIs. So this one I've named conveniently XTSS, just to make it easy to find. And here it is. You can get a quick preview if it doesn't happen to be below your screen like it is here, and click Add. Now XTSS has been added to our screen. The first HMI you add is the primary one, and it will show up very first when you enter your code. Let's go ahead and save everything. HMI Local saved. So now the question is, how do we know that everything worked right? Well, let's go back and look at our Lumberjack Application System one more time. And go to our network settings and enable tail scale. It's going to be a little bit difficult, so I'll refresh it one more time. Oh, there you go. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Again, all the connections occur client side, so it has to publish a notification, and then the subscriber on the Lumberjack has to catch that notification and then grab it and put it here. So here I logged in, and now I see my tail scale IP. So I can grab this IP, put it into my dashboard here, paste, and then :3031, because that was the port of the HMI, and I did HMI/primary. And that gets me to this screen here. Now that I can see this HMI, I can go ahead and enter my user code in. Remember, this is what I selected earlier, so it's just 1111, enter, and then the password again was just 1111, enter, All right, and now I see the HMI. Often when you first log into an HMI like this, it does kick you out and make you enter it in one more time just because it's resyncing the data. But now we're good. Okay, so here's my local HMI, looking good. You might notice it says no data. So let's troubleshoot that a little bit. Let's go back over here and go back to our example local HMI. Here we're seeing data. So that's kind of strange. So let's go ahead and click on it. What location is that on? That's on location SAX. If I were guessing, I'm betting that this piece of data is actually not on the HMI. It's not on the Lumberjack that I'm trying to access. So one quick way to tell what locations are on a Lumberjack is to copy the IP out of your Lumberjack selector and to go to control parameters. And to click on the Lumberjack you need. If you know the serial number, you can also just do that. Oh, see, so this Lumberjack actually has absolutely no parameters on it. Well, let's fix that. Quickly, I'll add a HMI Local. A single manual. Data for a local HMI. And then that's going to be our IP address. This is all the same. Looks great. Add. So now I have a spot to put data. And let's see, what else will I need? I'll need a single location, a manual controller, which is right here. There we go, and now it's found the one I have. Go ahead and save this. Let's give it a little data point here. Parameter or local HMI. I'll call this 13 or 12 since that's what I typed accidentally. Save. Okay, so now I'll change that to 13 just to make sure. Save. Wonderful. All right, so now let me go back and edit the data in this label here to use the one that we just created. What was it, Kaylee? Something like that. Data for local HMI. There's the parameter we just made. Confirm it. Save it. All right. So let's see if it's synced. Oh, look at that. It's already synced up. So there we have it. We have a local HMI. All the changes that we made automatically synced. Everything automatically saved. Just one more quick demo of that. Let's add a, I don't know, how about a pipe? And let's make it a little wider just so we can easily see. Save, drag it here, save again. And then check it back in our tail scale view. Oh, there's our pipe. Beautiful. Everything working exactly how it should. Occasionally there might be a problem with syncing. If that occurs, you can go to example local HMI, pick the local HMI you need, and click this sync button. HMI local saved. So HMI Local is a pretty advanced feature. It brings together a lot of different pieces that we use in OnPing, including tail scale to check things, the HMIs, the synchronization, the Lumberjack Application System, but it's a really nice example of how all these features work together to provide real value. We've had customers use this for creating control panels and creating, full HMIs out in the field. If you have any questions about it, feel free to email us at support@plowtech.net Otherwise, thank you so much.